No. You get it on the mic. You just ask the question on the mic so we can have it on there.
What does anybody do for black people today?
That's a good question. That's what black people should be looking into, right? Democrats definitely not doing enough for black people. You can't name a policy. I'll put money on it today, right now. You can't name a policy that Democrats have done to benefit black people. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Do not miss America Fest 2024. It's happening December the 19th through the 22nd at the Phoenix Convention Center right here in my home city. Get ready to hear from top speakers, including myself, Tucker Carlson, Matt Gaetz, whom I love. I met Matt Gaetz in person. That dude is just as cool as he is when you see him on the television. We got Don Trump Jr. and many more of the nation's top speakers. You'll connect with thousands of patriots, enjoy live concerts, and develop leadership skills that will energize you to make a difference in your community. Secure a spot today. Use promo code Tatum and get 25% off general admission at ampfest.com. See y'all at America Fest. Let's go.
I'm more so, I feel like this is gonna ruffle some feathers and kind of get me
Oh, ruffle some feathers?
Ruffle some feathers.
Don't worry about it. You gotta tell the truth. Jesus ruffle feathers all the time.
I wanted to agree with you. It was a conversation you were having with the other dude. I feel like as black people, we do victimize ourselves a lot. I see it in our community, and I used to be one of those black people who were like, you know, I really like almost had this hatred for white people because that's what all they were showing me, until I actually went out and I started to go places and I started to see, interacting with, you know, white people, and I was seeing how not every white person was bad, and it was shocking me how they were so nice. And so, you know, basically I just want to say slavery, that is a very sensitive topic. However, my personal opinion is that we're in 2024, and it's a new time. And I'm not saying forget about it, but I just feel like we as black people shouldn't just sit around and mope about it all day. Every time I get on another social media platform, all they talk about is slavery. And I understand that is very important. It's a very sensitive topic, and I don't want to be desensitive to it, like insensitive to it. But, you know, I understand it. You know, however, I just feel like it's more to us as a black community.
Yes.
Like in schools, all they teach us is we are known as the people who were oppressed. I feel like we are a very creative people. We are very fun. We play a very key role in the making of America today, in society today. And I just feel like we are more than just slavery. We are more than just the people who were killed. We are more than just a people who were once illiterate. And, you know, a lot of people can argue about, you know, black rights, but I definitely feel like it went downhill once we decided to dwell in civil rights, because I feel like they only do what, in some sense, to an extent, they can only do what we allow. 100%. How we had schools, but we chose to mope around and, you know, cry about them not letting us into their schools. Yeah. It's like we have to make it like you said, we have to use the cards that we have and play the cards that we're dealt. Like, I just feel like constantly staying stuck in this victim mindset that every white person is out to get us. I just feel like it's very.
We agree. We agree. You know, it's interesting because I would imagine that every single person standing here would agree with you, right? I mean, I don't know how trying to get black people exposure as being greater than just this victim mentality, how is that bad? You know, we know about the martyrs, but we don't know about the successful black people that have done so many great things in America. Like the automatic transmission in a motor vehicle today, a black man made it. The stoplight, a black man. Black people have invented so many things. We don't know who invented what, but we know who the last one that got killed by a police officer. George Floyd got so much coverage, which I think what happened to him was wrong. But my God, they made a statue out of the guy. But they won't even talk about Ben Carson. Most people don't even know who Ben Carson. I mean, I won't say most. I hope that most people know who Ben Carson is.
I don't even know who that is.
Raise your hand if you know who Ben Carson is. Oh my God, that's insane. You guys don't know who Ben Carson is right here? Y'all know who Ben Carson is? He ran for president. He is one of the greatest black men to ever live. And it's crazy that we know George Floyd, but we don't know Ben Carson. It's, you know, Ben Carson, a neurosurgeon, he the first person in world history to separate conjoined twins at the head. Nobody in the world has ever done that. Ben Carson was the first. He is one of the greatest men that lived. He's brilliant. He came from humble beginnings. His mama was poor. His mama couldn't read. That guy had an incredible story, and we should know him more than we know these other people.
Yeah, and I feel like
it does. So you know who he is. Good.
Yeah,
good.
And I just feel like, as a society, we should magnify Black success more than we talk about Black oppression.
Right.
And I feel like we as a people, I feel like there's a spiritual warfare on a human race, not just Black people, because we're not the only people in time who's ever been oppressed. Like, there's other races that has been through things too. It's just that we magnify ours more, and we, kind of dwell in that a little more.
Yeah.
I just feel like, all in all,
you have a question in there? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I just want to say, I really just want to say something, because I just feel like it's kind of crazy to, I just feel like division is stupid.
Right, and let me tell you this. When people say, is America racist? I don't think systemically America is racist. I think that there's people that are unsuspected actors that are racist against Black people, and they are our friends, our allies.
Yeah.
The Democrat Party, people do not know the history of this. I didn't. I had to learn this. They're the party of slavery. The 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment that was signed was unanimously supported by Republicans, not Democrats.
Right.
Democrats filibustered the Civil Rights Act. Democrats were the party of slavery. They used the KKK as the Democrat enforcement arm. And then they say the party switch and they get away with it. It's insane to me.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this. If you loved Black people, what would politicians do? Not give you a handout. They'll go down and look at that school and say, why is this school failing?
Yeah.
Let's get people an adequate education so they can perform. And they don't want to do that. They want you to be ignorant. They want you to have poor schools. They want crime to be rampant in your community. They put abortion clinics on every corner. They got a liquor store on every corner. They put drugs in the community because they know people are going to sell it to each other. All of this. And what do? We call them our ally.
And they just
let me say this one thing. If a person tells you that that white supremacy or white privilege is a thing, that person is lying to you.
Yeah.
They hate you, and they want you to always feel inferior to white people.
Yeah.
There is nothing. Hold on, wait a minute. Be respectful to the young lady here. If you got a question, you can go next. Okay, just be respectful to the young lady. So, if they really was honest, they would encourage young Black people to feel and believe that they're just as good as anybody else.
Right.
Not tell you that some white person somewhere is better than you.
Yeah.
I mean, white people poor too.
Yeah, yeah.
And you guys who are at this university, especially speaking to the Black people, what a white person on campus can do that you can't do.
Yeah.
You go to the same classes, you have the same teachers, you have the same books, you have the same 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And many Black people at this university, hopefully I'm talking to a few of them, that you will make straight A's at this school.
Right.
And you will have a great education. And you will pick a major that's going to be a great investment for your future. And you're going to go on in this country and you're going to dominate.
Right.
You're going to be great. You're going to raise a family. You're going to do all those things because nobody can stop you.
Yeah.
That should be the message.
I agree.
But instead, that's not the message.
Yes, I agree with that. Just one thing, I do feel like because we're Black, we have a lot more challenges than, but I do feel like we all do have the same opportunities like as white people, but I feel like, times are very different now. I mean, and I feel like a lot of Black people are speaking from a more they're speaking from a past, and it's like America has changed a lot today.
Right.
In some ways, I feel like that's not as significant, but I do feel like in some areas, in some instances, Black people do have a little more obstacles than Black people.
I agree with you, and everybody has obstacles.
Yeah.
We can't feel like we're just uniquely situated where we just have more issues than anybody else. Man, everybody got problems.
Yeah, yeah.
When I was a cop and I patrolled the poor white neighborhoods, they had the same issues that I remember growing up and experiencing. Just the only difference was they didn't have gangs.
Yeah.
It wasn't no gangs, but poor, ain't got no daddy, ain't got nothing to eat, on food stamps, terrible schools, getting judged at the stores. I mean, you get a guy coming in with sores on his scratching his neck, man, the store owner like, this is a crackhead, it's a meth head. And they get discriminated against too in some cases. You know, one thing that I think that people should be talking about is classism. Racism is less of an issue in America than classism. If you are Tariq Hill, you can drive I don't know how many miles per hour and play the victim. Tariq Hill's rich. He can pay a ticket like it's nothing.
Yeah.
You know, if you P. Diddy. Speaking of P. Diddy, how does man go this long doing all that dirt and all of a sudden he get caught I don't know how many decades later? Yeah. I mean, when you got money, you at a different level. I don't care what color you are.
Right.
You can afford a lawyer. So if you poor, white, black, or different, you get in trouble with the law, you get a public defender. And that same public defender suck for a black person and white person the same. I'm not saying all of them suck, but they're not equipped like if you had to pay for a person to defend you. Right. That's a poor thing. Rich people get away with doing stuff all the time. Right. They get away with these white collar crimes and all this stuff because they got the money to deal with it.
But he didn't get away with it though.
Here, let's. You have a question? Come on, ask your question.
No, my brother right here was next. He's been waiting a lot longer than me.
Okay. He can switch you if you want. Go ahead.
Sorry, we have time for one more.
Oh, one more. Okay.
Come on, no, we can do half and half.
I'll let him do half and half.
We can do half and half. Yeah, I'll go first. Yeah.
Go ahead.
What I want to say first is that I understand what you're trying to say, and I would like it if more Republicans were like you. However, some of the issues and some of your talking points, I feel like you're removing some context. Like even with the whole thing, you talked about Rosa Parks, how, you know, her husband owned a car and all that. That's not the point. They were doing that to protest. Even if you do have a car, there are probably plenty of black people that did.
Did you hear the part that I said that we had our own bus line?
I know, but we shouldn't have that. Because you were talking about how everyone should be together, we should all unify. But if we stay separate, if we keep having black water fountains and white water fountains, white schools and black schools, we'll never have that unity. And even with these people out here, there are gay, trans people all over the place. And then you have like your little people in the background. Oh, only two genders. Like, you're not going to make unity.
We're provoking a conversation so people can come to the mic and have a conversation. That's what it is. If we don't have some issues out here for people to know where we stand or to provoke conversation, nobody's going to come and talk. So some of those things is to provoke a conversation. Let me talk about Rosa Parks. There's a difference between natural immigration or migration between the races and forced desegregation. When you force it, you cause animosity and chaos. When you let it be a natural thing, it happens a lot more smoother. In the South, even in places where there was discrimination on the law book, not everybody discriminated against each other. There was black and white people getting together all the time. It was certain places where they held true to those structural things that were Democrats put into place to cause division. I don't think that she should have forced that. I think that black people should have had their own bus line and became competitive, and then therefore they merged. Because that's the problem with our societies. We gave up a lot of our own generational wealth trying to get in the bed with a group of people that didn't really want us at the time. We had resources that we forfeited. We had education systems that we could teach our own history if we wanted to, but we forfeited that to stage this issue that wasn't as prevalent as Martin Luther King and the others made it. It wasn't as prevalent. People weren't just killing each other in the Deep South. It was only isolated situations. That's why they traveled to Birmingham. That's why they traveled to hot spots to create chaos, to get us to where? Where did that get black Americans today? Are we more generationally wealthy than we were then? Is racism stopped? Is discrimination stopped? That stuff didn't do nothing. They tried to push a political agenda to benefit themselves and not really benefit black people.
Okay, so I guess like to talk about that. It's like even with like what you're saying right now.
Can you move a little closer to the mic so you can have
your even though like what you're saying right now today, we have all races of people at the same bus. And I understand like it should have been more peaceful, but sometimes you need to put force to get what we need.
I don't disagree with you. I disagree with how it happened, but I don't disagree with you
but
that
it needed to happen. Even if you disagree with me, it needed to happen. Because even though MLK was peaceful, what happened to him?
No, I think
MLK wasn't as peaceful.
No, I think that we're on the same page. MLK was not violent like we saw in 2020 when people burning down places. That he was not violent. So MLK's approach was way different, which I respect his approach. I think that we should have desegregated. I just think that it should have been a more of a setup where black people were financially stable before we jumped over into these other people's stuff. That's the only thing. Me and you agree that we should desegregate. Me and you agree that it's great that we can all be on a campus together. We agree on that. I just think we should have let it naturally happen and get the government out of the way than for us to try to force the government to put their hand in it. People, I don't think, would have been segregating themselves. The government mandated Jim Crow laws. That's the government is the problem. And what party initiated that? Democrats. Who still, and black people, 90-some% still vote for these same people that put in these racist laws in Jim Crow South. So, you know, go ahead. I use your question because I could talk for 3 hours. Go ahead.
just a quick thing regarding the whole like Democrat thing. I understand that, like in the past, Democrats were, you know, linked to the KKK. But really think about it now. Who's wearing these hoods now? People on the far right.
No. What do Democrats do for black people today?
What does anybody do for black people?
No. You get it, Matt. Just ask the question on mic so we can have it on there.
What does anybody do for black people today?
That's a good question. That's what black people should be looking into, right? Democrats definitely not doing enough for black people. You can't name a policy. I'll put money on it today, right now. You can't name a policy that Democrats have done to benefit black people right now. I could tell you some that they benefit illegals.
But policies are
LGBTQ. I could go down the list.
Policies is nothing but energy. And if we know about basic physics, energy is just a force, but forces have to be acted upon for them to move.
So let's go with the Republican Party. What did Donald Trump do when he was in office? He secured funding for HBCUs, which I think was a positive.
Yeah.
He had these zones, I can't think of the name of it right now, it's skipping my mind, opportunity zones that he initiated. The First Step Act, which I was a part, me and Candace Owens and others were lobbying Congress, even lobbying against Republicans to get this passed. My uncle got out of prison, he got 40 years fed time for selling dope, and he got out early because of the First Step Act. So these are things that affect the black community, and economic success as a country helps everybody.
But at what cost of other countries though? You got to think about we stealing.
No,
but we stealing though. We got to think about that, and then we stealing from our own ancestors and our own countries.
Well, we have a whole argument about the ancestor thing because I think that black people should be more upset with Africans than they should be white people. Because how did we get here?
Well, I'm not African.
I'm not saying you.
I'm Caribbean. You see my flag.
Well, they should be mad.
I'm Trinidadian.
You should be mad at the Africans.
I ain't mad at nobody.
Well, okay.
I don't hold grudges. That's the problem that we got because we got narratives that are being pushed for us to be mad, and then we don't know where to take our anger out because first of all, we have emotional intelligence. We're not emotionally intelligent. Yeah. So there's nowhere for us to go for us to even be able to express ourselves or to even know how to express ourselves. So we take it out on each other, and that's the problem. That's where we at right now.
But see, you have the problem, and you also have the solution. It's to reverse the things that you're saying. So how about when you're on campus, how do you treat your brothers and sisters? How do you treat white people? That's going to be what makes a difference.
I'm a beacon of light, and I stand with God, one and only.
Everybody know that. Then you continue to do that, and you'll be a light to other people. Everybody here on campus, the way that you make a change is you being the change yourself. It's the same thing with God. I won't come here with a Bible in my hand and hit y'all over the head with it. You got to live a lifestyle. When you live a lifestyle that people believe is good and moral, people begin to wonder, what are you doing? What are you a part of? And the same thing happens in anything else in your life. The faith, oh, she's still back. I thought I prayed her away. You still, as individuals, should look in the mirror and say, I am an individual living in America. I have all the rights that everybody else has. What am I going to do with it? And when adversity hit, how do you respond? If a white man came to me and called me the N-word right now on this campus, what does that affect my bank account? None. How does that affect me being a father of my children? Nothing. He an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Like a brother come to me and call me
the test of a man.
Well, that's how we should be preaching to our young men.
The testament of a man.
Ain't nobody should be able to make you upset by saying an N-word to you. It's a word. Nobody can stop you from accomplishing your dreams and aspirations because you live in America. Do you believe that?
Yeah, but at the same.
Do you believe that?
But at the same time, though.
Do you believe that?
If I'm moving with light.
She ain't listening to nothing I said.
If I'm moving with light, and then one person wants to have hatred, there's no you can't. You can't. I mean, if you even look at basic math, a negative and a positive equals a negative. How does that even work out?
You know how that work out is that you don't fool with negative people. You don't fool with people that are in darkness. You don't fool with them, no matter what color they are. Sometimes we fooling with people because they are same color and they come from the same hood, and we shouldn't be fooling with them.
But when you have
they're not going where we're going.
But when you have a seed that's planted on this earth, that seed does not leave unless you kill that seed. You see what I'm saying?
You're getting too deep right now, man. We gotta.
We talking deep.
I know, but this is a longer conversation. You talking about energy. You talking about spirits.
That's what I'm on.
I know, but I wish you'd have came earlier so we can have a conversation.
I had class.
And we got how much time we got? 2 minutes. So does somebody have another specific question?
It's cool. Join me on your podcast.
Okay, for sure. Appreciate you, brother.
My name is Ryan Gore.
Ryan what?
Gore.
Do you have a social media?
No, I don't do social media. It's a distraction.
You should. Well, I would just post on social media. I wouldn't look at it. Then your word can get out there and you don't have to be distracted.